Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second ever SCS chat room. My name is Blake Lawson. I'm the middle school pastor.
And I'm Jonah. I'm the high school pastor.
And today, we are proud to bring you our second guest ever on chat room. It's going to be awesome. And, okay, honestly, I had to get this out of the way. Jonah doesn't know about this, but before we get started, I have to address some people. Mallory, Mary, Ryan, Caroline, Evan, Caleb, I apologize because there was some people were getting upset. They were getting their feelings hurt a little bit because I said in our first podcast with Hannah and Laura that during COVID I didn't have any friends, and they were very hurt by that. So I didn't mean that I didn't have any friends. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for pointing that out to me and then bullying me for a week that I didn't have friends.
Hey,
no, yeah.
But take backs.
That was
right
for
there.
real. That was a take back.
Yeah, and if you actually want to look at that podcast, you can check on our Simple Church Students YouTube page or SCS chat room on podcasts and Spotify.
Yes. Check it out. It's awesome. There's a two-parter. It's great. It's cool. But I just needed to get that out there, and you weren't bullying me. That was just being funny. But you guys are awesome. I love you all, my friends. But that being said, speaking of friends, today we have a very, very special guest. This is our second month of the podcast, and we wanted to start with some new cool stuff. We just had the snowpocalypse. We got snowed in for a week.
It has been crazy weather over
It's been
here.
a weird week.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, yeah. I got snowed in. So I went to Dallas with the Haglers, and then so we were out for like 3 days, and then we came back, and I got snowed in for a week with them. So it was a lot of fun. Luckily, I had my little suitcase already in my car from Dallas, so it was just, it was easy.
Yeah, you're prepared.
Yeah, for sure. It was like the best possible scenario. But we built a fort. We got super sore snowboarding and like doing all kind of crazy stuff on boogie boards.
This is a conversation you'd see on the old show Recess. Like, we built a fort, and it was so cool. But awesome. Well, then in March, we're actually going to be focusing on identity. And so just talking a little bit about what makes you, you.
Yeah,
it's
for
gonna
sure.
be a lot of fun.
It's going to be way cool. But to start that, man, who's got a crazier identity than our new guest today? Do you want to bring him up? He's your intern.
He's not my intern at all.
Oh, he's my intern. He's your student, I mean.
What are you talking about? All right,
I'm tripping.
Yeah. Oh, he's moved. He's moved on. He's now just a senior, but he's your intern.
He's a senior, my intern, and one of my very good buddies. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring to the podcast for the very first time the Astros assassin, legend among men, the Mulleted Menace, Alex the Monkey Boy Blackburn.
What up?
Say something,
Love
Monkey
that
Boy.
intro.
Yes.
Love that intro.
That was a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot to digest there, but I just want to mention, all right, how in the world, you've mentioned over and over and over again, how'd you end up with Monkey Boy?
You want to tell that story?
I mean, I think you tell it good, so you can tell it.
Okay, so last summer we played, I don't know why, but we just discovered that disc golf is really awesome. And so we went for sure. Me and Caleb were out there like every day. But it's a lot of fun. And we went to Clyde Fant like multiple times every week. And one of those times, Alex came. And this was only like the second time I had ever met him. And in a moment of panic, I called him Monkey Boy. And a moment of panic changed his life forever because now he is almost...
I will be forever known as Monkey Boy.
Yeah.
I can see the resemblance, So we actually want to ask all of our guests this month a special question. It's because we're talking about identity. If you would take something away from you, what would it be that would just completely I am not me without blank?
What makes Monkey Boy Monkey Boy?
I mean, now it's like church, but when I was younger, it was baseball.
Okay.
Good
My
answer.
whole life revolved around baseball.
So if you took out baseball from your life back then, you're like,
I wouldn't know who I was.
didn't exist.
So, segue, you would say that baseball is a part of your identity?
Yes.
Well, that's interesting because, aren't we talking about identity today?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So we wanted to start out asking, what is identity? Because the dictionary defines it as identity is the distinguishing character or personality of an individual.
Dang, you studied.
Yeah, I did. But what I think that means is I've always heard that your identity comes from the media that you consume and the people that you hang out with closest in your life. That derives your identity, like who your personality becomes. And so just kind of going forward with that, what defines y'all?
I think for me, there's so many different things that comes in. I think, as you mentioned before, just talking about your friends as well as the media you consume are definite some things. But I also think that as Christians, we know that God had a plan for you and who you
Right.
would be.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely some things that God made you unique. Like, no matter how, like, even if you had, like, quintuplets, like, you're still a unique person. Like, there's so many ways that God intentionally made you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, or you could be like Jonah and a redhead.
And that's his identity.
Yes.
Dang.
Jealous.
Hurts.
Well, the reason we chose you, Alex, I think I'll tell you, is because there are if you ask people, like a random poll of like 12 people, you could get 12 different answers on what makes Alex Alex, because you have this, it's powerlifting and baseball and a mullet. How many people do you know with a full-on, like, redneck river flowing down the back, man?
Depends on where you live. There
True.
are more in Houghton. But anyway, just kidding, Houghton.
I mean, I pretty much live in Halton, so
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
You're next door.
the king of Houghton on the podcast. We're lucky.
yeah, for sure.
But it is hard to define identity and kind of go into that because it does change, don't
Yeah,
you think?
it changes all the time. Like, as you get older, it changes, and, like, you lose some identity that you did when you were younger.
Yeah,
Right.
and so it's changing with
It's just changing as your life moves on.
it's like you already mentioned with baseball, like that was a big kind of shift for you. Like you are no longer
Yeah, because, like,
baseball
with
Alex.
baseball, like, all my friends I had from baseball or church,
Mhm.
and, like, but more of them were from baseball.
Oh.
And then when I quit it freshman year, I kind of, like, diversified a bit.
Okay.
Like, I was getting friends from, like, the football team. Like, everywhere around, I had friends instead of just through baseball.
Was it pretty much always baseball, though, or where did it start?
It was pretty much always baseball, like, because I started playing baseball when I was, like, 3 or 4 years old. And
Wow.
I'd played baseball, had practice, like, 3 or 4 times a week, and had games and everything like that. And
Since he was the size of a baseball.
yeah, I mean, like, then when I wasn't playing baseball, I was watching baseball.
Right.
Just, I always loved baseball.
I think we all go through a whole lot of phases. Just because, like, I know, like, for me, like, there was an entire year in, like, 6th grade where all I wore was polos the entire time. Ooh, I wanted to be a zoologist when I was a kid. Didn't end up doing that, but I did end up working with a monkey, so it worked a little bit.
You're working with one now, so.
Yeah, exactly. and then also, like, I remember 8th grade Jonah. Like, 8th grade Jonah was like goth Jonah, and like at first,
Can
no
you
one believes
believe
it.
that?
I can't see it.
Okay,
like,
think about this.
like,
There's a correlation directly with paleness and goths.
yeah, I mean, but
So-
not redhead.
I was ready
Goth.
for it.
I don't think
never
I've ever
dyed my
seen a
hair black,
redhead
no.
goth.
I don't think I have either. Like, could
Maybe
you
that's-
imagine Jonah with the nose ring?
That's probably whoa.
Everybody,
Like-
You don't have to have a
whoa.
nose ring.
You
when you
pretty
say
much
goth,
do,
you
though.
pretty much think of nose ring.
I had hair covering my right eye, and I was deeply emotional. All right.
Everybody,
So-
right now, if you're listening, pause the podcast and look up redhead goth and then come back and just,
Just see if you see anything.
I don't know. For
Do
the
come
comment, the challenge actually this week is send in a picture of a redhead goth to
No,
our Instagram.
no, no, it's not.
Is it not?
Especially
Oh,
if you can
okay.
find any of my middle school pictures. No.
God.
You can't. I hid them all.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, is when you get older, you're gonna have regrets. That is just one of the most basic things. Like
Yep.
bowl haircut, Jonah. Nope, no more. You had a mohawk, didn't you? Didn't
Yeah,
you
I
say
had
that?
a mohawk freshman year. I cut it in mohawk, and I was like, because one of my favorite baseball players had a mohawk. And I was like, you know what? The mullet was kind of starting to come back. I was like, you know what? I'm going to test out the mullet, see how I like it. I got it, and just I love it. But thing is, my mom didn't want me to get a mullet. My dad didn't want me to get a mullet. My sister didn't either. I was like, I don't
Who
care.
Did
Me.
okay, good. That's
There you
good for
go.
you.
Man, stick
Like,
it to the
I told several of my friends, like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting a mullet. He goes, really? I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to see how I like it. And, like, I didn't care what anybody thought. Like, my sister always tells me, it's hideous. It's hideous. I'm like, I don't care because I enjoy it and it makes me happy, so I'm going to keep it.
There you go.
That's
What do they
you.
think about it now? Because if I looked at you now and then like tomorrow you didn't have a mullet, I would be confused and probably a little heartbroken.
Yeah, like, one of my best friends at Calvary, he's only known me with a mullet. Like, he's only seen, like, pictures of me without the mullet. He had,
Wow.
because, like, he transferred over from North Soto junior year.
Right.
And, like, we got real close because we had pretty much all classes together and stuff. And, like, basically he sees me, he thinks mullet.
Yeah.
I don't know what he would say if I just showed up without a mullet.
Definitely
Actually-
probably a shock.
Like it'd definitely be, like, shocked, like, whoa, you look different. Like
Go back to the mohawk. I want to see that. Like going back there.
What if you had a mohawk and it just fell into a mullet at the back?
Oh,
That-
the trickle down.
that would have
Yeah.
Oh,
Now my hair is too curly to like actually spike it up.
Yeah.
And so it's
same.
kind of like a curly mohawk. So
Oh.
like I just shave the sides and down, and then it just be curls.
You got like phoenix hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
like and for a little bit I wanted to frost my mohawk,
Wow.
just bleach the top of it.
It's like David Bowie and Patrick
thought-
Swayze combined.
you were barely born in the 2000s, and you would want to frost your hair. Like
Yeah, this was freshman year of high school. I
Dude.
really wanted to, and my mom said if I got
that's 3 years ago. You wanted
Yeah.
to frost your hair.
Do you see
Like-
people listening? Do you see why we brought him in? Because he is the perfect secure in his identity. Like Alex is gonna do Alex no matter what.
I
in a
mean,
good
and
way.
Ian was
Yeah.
right there with me. He was like, "Yo, you should definitely do that. You should definitely do that." And my mom did not want me to do it. All right, if you get straight A's this semester, you can do it. I got one.
Wow.
I got 1B.
Dang.
Ah, there goes
And
the frosted
looking back
tips.
on it now, I'm happy that I got that B because that is something I would have regretted.
we just mentioned you. When you get older, you will have
Like-
regrets.
Like look at like just 3 years ago, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. This is gonna be so cool." And it just wasn't. Like
No.
looking back now, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm very happy because one of my buddies, he had frost tips in 7th grade. We make fun of him for that all the time now,
Yeah.
and
think-
like, I just thought it'd be cool back then, but now I'm like, I'm very happy I didn't do that.
That's
It's-
so weird though.
And it's easy for us right now to be like, oh, we made so many dumb mistakes. Did you remember that? But, the reality is even now me, like as an adult, 10 years, I'm going to look back and be like, what was I thinking on something? I don't know what yet.
Yeah, like
but-
you'll look back and be like, why'd I have those shoes?
Oh,
like-
yes.
Mhm.
It'd just be stuff.
Or like, look at the ripped jeans or something.
yeah, yeah, like those look so stupid. Like
Yeah.
you'll look back and back then, like when it happened, you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then you'll look back at pictures like, why'd I do that?
They weren't even wearing leather pants like we all do now, like
For
in
sure.
10
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please no.
leather plant.
I was
What is
thinking
that?
of
Leather
something that would become
plants.
yeah, leather plants.
A leather plant is a cow, dude.
All of us paused to ponder that thought. That was
Yeah.
deeply.
That's for sure
That's
the quote of the day.
yeah.
And then identity also changes not just with like time, but also like with your age. And so like I know middle school and high schoolers, they're very different, right?
For
Yeah.
sure, because in middle school it's kind of about blending in, but it's also there's no way not to be frustrated because it's a paradoxical like you want to be popular, but you also want to blend in. But how are you going to stand out if you're
Yeah.
the same as everybody else?
You can't be popular and blend in at the same time. You got to like choose one or the other, like which is one of the struggles in middle school.
Right.
In middle school, you're just trying to blend in, do what everybody else does.
Right.
And once you make that transfer to high school, you realize, okay, it's okay to be different. It's okay to stand out. Because, like, in middle school, it's looked on as a bad thing.
Right.
But,
Well,
like, in high school, it's like, oh, that's cool. And just because nobody else does that.
yeah.
And, yeah. And that's something that, like, I learned that probably about sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
I
mean-
learned that it's okay to be me. I don't have to change myself. I can be me, be different. And
You
peop-
didn't learn
Look
that
at
in
this
ninth
guy,
grade when
man.
you had a mohawk.
Yeah.
Like you had to learn it a year after mohawk.
Like
it took
I
a
started
year
it took a year to fully embrace it.
to fully.
Like I started to understand that freshman year
Yeah.
and stuff.
It was a
but
depression mohawk.
I,
I'm reserving as a band name. Nobody can take that.
I know we had. I was giving Miles Putman a ride home this week, and we were talking about identity a little bit, and he goes, "Yeah, middle school was just a popularity game that everyone was losing." And
That's deep.
Yeah.
that
man.
was good. I just think it's too true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because like in middle school, you can't really remember those like popular guys because they're all literally the same. The people you remember are the ones who stood out, the ones who were different.
Well, it's weird because even over our lifetime, what is cool has changed.
It changes year to year.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Like couple years ago, Fortnite was on top of the world.
well, I was actually
Like-
going to
Not
say.
anymore?
So,
No.
Oh,
what would it be now?
I
What
need
do
to
you
get
think?
off it now.
If
Among
you would have
Us?
asked me like 3 months
Among
ago, I
Us
would have said
was,
Among Us.
Yeah.
But like Among Us just kind of like got boring
It
because
kind of fizzled out.
it's kind of it
gone
didn't
away.
it fizzled out
Yeah.
a lot quicker than Fortnite did. But like
Oh, yeah.
Fortnite, everybody was playing that every day.
They're still the Fortnite homies.
There's
I know
still
they're
there's
out
still several people who play Fortnite, but it just got too try hard for me. I can't go in there, have fun, and win a game. Like, I can't have fun and win at the same time for Fortnite because you literally have to be so good at it. It's insane.
People just learned Fortnite too quick.
Yeah.
Like, I was out here trying to find weapons and stuff, and then they go
Just
and build a
90s.
giant tower
Like-
into the sky.
Like
Oh.
OG Fortnite was like season 3 of Fortnite was so fun because no one knew how to build. It was basically like you build a little ramp and just sit on it, just shooting at people.
yeah.
Which is kind of like a cartoon version of Call of Duty.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I feel like kind of like we touched on earlier, what used to be popular was like, the jocks and the QBs
Yeah.
and cheerleaders and stuff. And now it's like, dude, have you met Alex? He's mad cracked at
But
Fortnite.
I'm like,
Like you'll
Or
be
it's
watching
like-
like High School Musical, and you're like, all right, wait a sec, this is
What is-
not how
this is-
the world is at all.
Yeah.
Like they're
It's
making
like-
the whole statement, you don't have to just be your star basketball player yourself, and I'm like, no.
But now it's like, dude, do you know Jonah? He's got like tons of TikTok life hacks, man. It's
Can you
great.
imagine like the song, this entire movie built around like these two generic kids, like one who's a social media star and loves movies and stuff, and they're like, no, stick to the status quo. You can't go do something.
Bro, can you,
you
even
can't be different. You have
can't
to.
even play
You have to be a
basketball.
jock. I don't care if you suck. You have to be.
can you even renegade, bro?
yeah.
I don't think so.
Or a verse.
Get out of my face, man.
And then I know they also now, like, do y'all know about the whole like the argument between Gen Z and millennials on like the whole hair and stuff right now, like, and
Yeah.
the different style choices.
Are
and-
millennials like 30?
Yeah, I think they're
What?
24 and above now.
Okay.
24
Man,
and
you
above.
just missed,
I
huh?
barely missed it. Yes.
Okay.
I'm the year of the change, which is sad because we are in charge of Gen Z and we are Gen Z.
Yeah,
year
and
of
Gen Z's
change.
kind of weird.
Yeah. That's
Gen-
us,
Like,
bro.
are
like that is like,
Gen Z.
and that's good. That's good.
Actually,
It's-
I would say that.
It's literally one of the most diverse, like millennials, boomers, and like all of them. Like you kind of like put them in their own category. But like Gen Z, you could have so many different, like late '90s kids, early 2000s, late 2000s, and they're all completely different and stand out for different reasons.
And I think
true.
and I think Gen Z really does just
Like
support that.
millennials, you put like one thing for all of them, but like for Gen Z, you can put stuff for like the '90s to early 2000s and late ones.
Well, I think it's like a snowball effect because culture is changing so quick
It,
now.
yeah, it changes. So it's like month to month of what's cool and what's not cool.
Yeah.
So, and then I think one of the things that is what cool changes, one of the biggest things, and it's also just, it's a pendulum. It goes back and forth over and over
Yeah.
again. Like, for example, thing
Mullets.
that all of us thought was not cool is mullets. Like, and then all of a sudden now you look around and you're like, wait, is that a mullet? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking
Yeah.
around and seeing parachute pants.
They're-
But hey, wait 2 years.
They're
Like,
bell bottoms are back.
oh, that's kind of like parachute pants, right? I don't know.
No.
I wasn't old enough for parachute pants, I don't think.
No,
Even
no,
you
no,
weren't.
no.
Yeah.
No, wait, no.
You're younger. But
I
anyway.
have no idea what parachute pants are. So
But there are certain things
Yeah.
like regrets, and there's certain mistakes that a lot of people, students, and even adults make. There are a few pitfalls that we've seen that we want to just, warn you about before you just fall into the same ones.
For sure.
yeah. And like another thing, like what changes, like every few months, Minecraft will be back on top of the world, even though it's like a 10-year-old game.
It's a
It's
pendulum.
just it's like you said, it's a pendulum. Like it'll go, Minecraft will be very popular, and then in like a month or two, just no one will be playing it, and then it'll be popular again.
While we're
It's
on the
just-
subject, I had like a panic attack the other day. Where are Capri Suns? When is the last time you had a Capri Sun? Are they gone? And nobody noticed?
I get them.
Couple of
I'd have
weeks.
them about twice a week with my Lunchables because they're in Lunchables.
Oh, okay. I just hadn't had a.
And
you
I-
still have
I ha-
Lunchables
I-
once a week?
Twice a week for school. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have
man.
lunch. I get Lunchables, and then when I don't have a Lunchable, I go to Sonic and get me a burrito.
Lunchables were the jam.
Lunchables are so good. I usually get like the pizza ones.
I was just about to ask,
the
dude.
pizza?
Because then you can even eat
The
cold.
the pizza ones with the airheads. Not
Yep.
not the pepperoni pizzas with the crunch bar. No, you have to have the airhead with it.
Did you ever do the what is it? Kid cuisine with the penguin?
I loved Quid.
Yes.
Yeah, like that'd be so good.
jerks.
Yes.
Like,
I ate cafeteria meals my entire school career.
Dude.
Until like my senior year where we would have people deliver food to us secretly.
And that
Cuisine
Calvary's
was
always had food delivered there.
jam.
Like we'll have Cane's one week,
Ooh,
one day,
Calvary.
like Dilla's. Like there's Calvary. Being a couple years ago, they'd cook their own food and stuff, but now everything there is delivered,
Alex,
and it's so soggy and
Country
cold.
Boy High School did not have any of that. All right.
Hey,
When
that's why
I-
you got a big rich high school.
when I was in middle school in Florida, I started a fight. We had 3 ice creams to choose from after lunch in our cafeteria. There was like a freezer and there was 3 choices. There was I can't remember the third one, but the 2 important ones for this story were, one was called Big Crunch or like Big Bear Crunch or something. It was like a vanilla thing with like the chocolate the coating and the nuts on the outside. And then the other one was called Great Divide, and it was half chocolate,
half chocolate,
vanilla.
half vanilla.
You remember this?
That's one of the greatest. Like I'll get that from Bluebell.
I didn't believe that Big Bear Crunch was better, but I started a fist fight. I wasn't a part of the fist fight, but I started an argument that
You
got
started an
so
argument.
heated that 2 people legit went to a fist fight over Great Divide or Big Bear Crunch in the
I've never
lunchroom.
had Big Bear Crunch.
It was pretty good. I don't think it was better. I thought Great Divide was better, but I
Although
started to
my favorite
argue.
ice cream is mint chocolate chip.
Really?
We're really defining what's
Like-
different about us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So
But-
that'd be a part of your identity to get back to the
Yeah, back to
Yeah,
what we were
back-
talking about.
yeah.
But there are a few pitfalls, and I think the first one that we have is just like it's masks. Like if you
And
see not
yeah,
just
and
what
not
we wear
not the
now,
COVID
but-
mask, but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like your personality masks.
And
Yeah,
so
we're not gonna start the COVID talk.
yeah. But we have the tendency over and over again to wear a mask, like it's that fake, like you're a different person. I think you were the
Yeah.
one saying,
Yeah, like back in middle school, so I had like 3 or 4 different masks. I had the one like who I was with my family, who I was with my church friends, and who I was with my baseball and school friends, and then who I was by myself. Like, but now it's kind of like I've transformed them all into like one person. So I've really like lost all my masks, which
Right.
which like is something that you learn as you get older.
Right, for sure. Because it's like there's a different version, like you said, at school, with your family, with your friends.
Yeah, because like in middle school, like you have to have different versions of yourself so you can fit in.
Right.
Like, but like now I'm like, okay, I don't care if I fit in.
And
I
that's
wanna
all
be,
part of
I want to
growing
be
up.
who I am.
Yeah, because you have to have those masks on, or you don't have to, but what psychologically becomes your safety mechanism is fitting
fit
in
in.
and almost experimenting to see what works with what
Like,
groups.
like you see, like you're kind of like a follower and see what like the leader of that group does, and you try to mimic them.
Yeah.
Like for each one of them, and like as you get like my friend group at Calvary, we're all completely different,
Right.
but it's good because we're different, but we're also like similar and stuff.
Right.
But we don't like do exactly the same as each other
Right.
yeah,
because we just be ourselves.
it's like you complement each other. Just
Yeah.
because differences are good.
And that's the right mindset to have, because the flip side is thinking that you're never enough, because if
Yes.
you're never going to live up to your own standards, because we're always going to be our harshest critics. And we always analyze, at least for me, I always analyze myself more than I know other people are analyzing me.
Yeah.
I'm always harder on myself, and like people won't be thinking, like, even little stuff. Like I know nobody's thinking about, like, I'll say something that's like, that's the stupidest thing, you idiot.
Yeah, and like everybody will just pass on it and won't remember, but you'll
Yeah.
just harp on it
Hyper-focus.
forever.
and you grow out of it. But there was a long stage where I was just like beating myself up over every little thing.
Yeah, like in middle school, I'd say something and I'd be like, should I have said that? And I'll just think about it for a while and be like, okay. But in reality, looking back, I doubt anybody else was talking about the thing I said.
Right.
Yeah. And
Like,
no
you
one
just
will
gotta
remember
be
it in
you.
a
You just-
day.
you
No one will
just-
remember it in an
yes.
hour. I think that's
Nuh-uh.
actually where masks usually come from, is the idea that like maybe I'm not enough on my own, and so you
And
have
so
to
like people
change.
can't remember, people don't remember.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
and so,
so like I have to do stuff memorable to like fit in with them,
Yes,
so they
and
so
so-
they can remember.
and so you change who you are. You change who God made you, just so you can blend
Yeah.
in with a certain group, and that's just another just mistake.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that we always hear, especially like Gen Z always says, is the whole "you be you." I'm
Yeah.
not adding boo to that, but anyway,
You be you, boo.
You do you. Boo.
be
You do
You
you.
do you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hip.
Yeah.
But
Hip replacement. Am I right?
Hey.
Boomer.
I think that whole you do you idea.
This guy.
I think that whole you do you idea is like it's double sided, because like it's good on the side that we're already talking about, like you're
you
unique.
being you, it can be both good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it can be a pitfall, but also it can be also very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, so yeah,
So being good because like it's showing that hey, you're not afraid of what's unique about you. But the only problem is that I think every one of us have things about us that maybe are not the best. There are things that we need to work on. There's things that are maybe like
Yeah.
personality points, like if you get too angry, or if
redhead.
you're mean, or things like that, or
Change it.
dyeing your hair apparently, or cutting it maybe. I don't know. But that whole like, don't use that as an excuse to not work on the parts of you that you know need to improve. Because
Right.
you can be a better you. In
You
the
could
bad
be a better
areas.
you, but still be you.
Yes.
Like you don't have to be like a bully and stuff like to be different. You can still do good, still be nice, but also still being yourself.
Right. And a lot of that comes from we've
Maturity.
talked about pitfalls, but a lot of that comes from friends who you hang around
Yeah.
with. Because honestly, if you think about it, especially as you grow up, good friends, real friends,
Mhm.
can shape you just as much, sometimes even more than family, depending on how much you
Yeah.
spend time with them.
Especially.
And like real friends, they'll accept you for whoever you are.
And they'll
For sure.
encourage you when you're down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, but the thing is about bad friends, you don't realize they're bad friends until after the fact.
Mhm.
Or
Like,
you
until
just
you're
are you don't want to notice.
Yeah, or you're just trying to ignore it. They're like, okay, yeah, they did that, but they're also very good and stuff. And like looking back, you're like, oh, he was a terrible friend.
Yeah.
Like, but you don't realize it till after the fact. And that's something like about your decisions, like me trying to frost my mohawk. Back then, I thought it was a good idea.
I think
Now
you
I
should
don't.
frost the mullet. That's a great idea.
No.
That's for sure got to be like an insecurity thing, though, right? It's like a survival
Yeah,
thing. You're so busy
Mhm.
on focusing on fitting in
Yeah.
that you don't even think about the
Your-
big picture.
Your
what
big
it looks
picture of you changing yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
because like God created you to be you, and He doesn't want you going around changing yourself to please other people.
That's my boy.
He
That's
wants
fair.
you to like be yourself to please Him.
I think you're basically like just saying that I think our new series actually for the month of March that we're going through as an entire church is a series called Different.
Yeah.
And just that way that we're talking about living differently as well, but this is so crucial for your identity because like God did not like, especially we're going to be talking later about jealousy. If you look at someone and you think like that is the best person in the world, God didn't make two of them. Like
Yeah.
God intended to make you into
Yeah.
you. He doesn't need two of that person. And so
Right.
Yeah, like, oh, I like this person so much. Let me try to be him. Let me try to
Yeah.
do like, oh, he does that. I'm gonna do this to like mimic him.
Because really, if we're thinking from the biblical standpoint, the only person we should strive to be like is Christ.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when you think about it,
When no one could be like him though.
yeah, but there's a balance that you have to find because if you hang out with bad people, if you're not acting like Christ, because think about it, Christ, he didn't hang out with the richest, smartest, most biblical people. Like those were in his group. and
Like
hung out with everybody.
he hung out with everybody. Like the people who the rich people looked down on.
He would hang
like,
out with
like
prostitutes and
outcasts.
thieves and murderers
Yeah.
and outcasts and tax collectors
and like he was the same person all throughout.
yeah.
And like us, like our school friends, we're trying to act like them, and then church, you're just a completely different person,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you
Going back to
just
that masks.
But
yeah.
the important thing talking about friends is that he didn't meet them where they are in their sin. He told them to walk with him
Yes.
because he
Yes.
knew who he was. He knew his identity. He was solid on that. And he said, "Come with me. I'll show you how I live my life and how you can live your life to be a son or a daughter of God."
Yeah, that's cool. He didn't like
Come with
climb
me.
down to them. He instead of going down to them, like he tried to.
He-
He did.
he
Come
lifted
down, but
them
he
up.
lifted
He
them.
met them
tried
in the
to
mud,
bring
but he
them up.
didn't
Yeah,
stay there.
Yeah.
He treated people that were worthless in their society as being valued rather than just letting
Just-
go of what he believed
just
was
being
becoming
there.
worthless.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite authors/speakers, we're kind of going through, middle schoolers will know, we're going through Bob Goff's Everybody Always.
Yeah.
And Bob Goff, I met him in person,
Really?
and it was one of the most, like, you've always heard the term somebody's larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he
Smaller than large.
no, dude, he is, first of all, I didn't know this. He's like 6'5", so when you meet him,
Oh.
I'm 6'2", so I'm not, I'm not
Not
crazy
small,
tall, but
but-
I'm not also the shortest dude in the room. But he and he's so high energy all the time, and his whole thing is loving people. no matter what. Like everybody always. Love everybody always.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going through his message series, and he was talking about that, loving people for who they are, even when it doesn't make any sense, instead of a transactional love, like loving somebody so that they'll do something for you. And I think that that's the best thing to think about when you're friends. Is like love them for who they are, even love them for their sin, but walk with them and bring them with you, and don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them how to fix themselves, but love them and
but encourage them as they're trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah, and through your example,
like love them always, and just trying to lead them further to like, don't like, okay, you had to be this to be you.
Yeah,
like let them figure that out on their own.
And I think one of the best ways that you can share Christ with someone is through the way you live. And so even if you're not, it doesn't have to do with what they're doing or what they're saying, but what you do is always so much louder than what you say. And so if you're showing like, there's got to be at least a middle schooler or every single church member who looks at Alex and they're like, all right, how'd you get that confidence? Because looking at you made a statement. And now you're actually talking about it. But because of mullet. But I meant like in real life, how you live. And so the genuineness, the joy there. And so like that speaks to others. And so that's a mission. That's a message in itself.
Yeah, and it takes time. It takes time to learn. And like, you're not going to be like, okay, I want to be this. And it's still going to like bother you how other people think for a while until like you just keep practicing. Like practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'm so happy we had you on. I'm so happy that you're so open about your identity and who you are, and that you're so solid in who you are, and so solid about loving people and leading other people to be like you, and you're trying to be like Christ. I think that's the coolest, best thing you can do as a leader. Yeah. And as we leave today, I just want to thank you for coming on. We want to ask the challenge. What makes you different? If you're listening, type in the comments, Instagram us, comment, do all this stuff, captions, everything. Comment what makes you different.
What makes you you? Like going back, whether it be something real and genuine, like, man, like I am genuine or something like that. Or you can go back to that same question of what if you removed it from your life would not be you. So like Blake and coffee or something.
I don't know why coffee became my thing.
You had it like every single day, and you also brought a coffee maker to the church to make iced coffee.
Well, yeah.
Okay, there's not really – there are a few things there. But anyway, tune in next week. We'll be talking about spring break. And also check out our YouTube page, because that's where we have all of our chat room from the month of February.
Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when we post stuff, all the stuff. We love you. This has been so much fun. Alex, thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to have you back for sure. But for now, we want to say peace.